Each episode of Education Matters ends with a final word. The Public School Forum of North Carolina, the group that I lead, has been studying school finance for more than 20 years. Our work contributed to some of the positive policy changes we discussed today, like the low wealth and small county supplemental funds, policies that do in fact narrow the gap between the haves and the have-nots. The way we fund our schools in North Carolina, with a much larger share coming from the state as opposed to relying primarily on local support like many states do, is actually a strength area, at least when its adequate funds are made available from the state. Nationally, the share of total education funding provided by the state government differs. In some states, it's as high as 82%, while in others, it's as low as 29%. Here in North Carolina, about 64%. Other states that rely heavily on local property taxes often have vast inequities, much worse than what we showed today. Poorer communities with less of a property tax base may have higher tax rates, but still raise less funding to support the local school district. What that means is that children that live in low-income communities with the highest needs go to schools with the least resources, the least qualified teachers, and substandard school facilities. But our system does need some attention. Our poorer counties, and spoiler alert, there's more of them than there are counties like Wake and Mecklenburg, cannot close the gap on their own. Greene County, the one we opened with, has a property tax twice as high as Wake County, but there's just not enough property value there to fully support the children and the schools. The supplemental funds help, but alone they are not stopping the growing chasm between the two North Carolinas. Some undoubtedly will argue that you can't just throw money at schools, and we aren't suggesting that. But there aren't many real solutions to underfunding than actual funding. Enough resources to hire and keep great school leaders, outstanding teachers, and to provide safe, healthy learning environments for our children. And study after study shows that providing a great education to children of poverty actually requires more funding to make up for some of the family and community resources that those of us who live in Wake take for granted. The bottom line is children that are born into thriving counties do not share the same experience with other children in North Carolina. That should not be okay. It's an unsustainable model if we expect to grow and prosper as a state. That's it for Education Matters this week. Please come back next week and we'll talk about how North Carolina schools are recovering since Hurricane Matthew. Thanks for watching.